Beneath the ruins of time lies a question that has haunted humanity for centuries. What if the great civilizations of the past were not the first? Ancient myths from nearly every culture on Earth tell of a devastating flood, a cataclysm that wiped out entire peoples, leaving behind only fragments of their knowledge whispered through stone. If these stories are true, then somewhere beneath the layers of history there may be evidence, megalithic structures so vast and so precise that they defy explanation. Structures built not merely to survive the ages but perhaps to serve as messages from a forgotten world before the flood. Today we will journey across continents and oceans exploring the colossal remnants of a past we're told should not exist. From cyclopean walls to underwater temples, these 14 sites speak of technology, knowledge and ambition far beyond what mainstream history allows. And as we unravel each one, you may begin to wonder, were these truly the works of primitive hands or of civilizations erased by time? In the quiet Andalusian countryside of southern Spain lies a monument that, at first glance, seems modest compared to towering pyramids or massive stone fortresses. Yet step closer, and the Dolmen de Soto reveals itself as one of Europe's most remarkable Neolithic tombs. Built around 5,000 years ago, this subterranean passage grave stretches nearly 21 meters in length, its narrow corridor of megalithic slabs leading to a circular chamber deep within the earth. Each stone was carefully placed, forming a roofed passage that guides visitors into an interior space where ancient rituals once unfolded. Archaeological excavations revealed human remains, offerings and artifacts within the tomb, suggesting that Dolmen de Soto functioned as both a burial site and a ceremonial center. But what makes this dolmen particularly captivating is its alignment. On the day of the spring and autumn equinox, the rising sun penetrates the corridor, flooding its interior chamber with golden light. This deliberate solar alignment reveals that its builders were not merely farmers or herders, but possessed a keen understanding of astronomy, embedding the rhythms of the cosmos into their architecture. Standing inside, bathed in sunlight as ancient people once were, one feels a profound connection to a world view where life, death and the heavens above were woven into a single cosmic order. Far to the north in Ireland's Boyne Valley stands another masterpiece of Neolithic engineering, Newgrange. At over 5,000 years old, this massive passage tomb predates both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Giza. Yet its design and construction still astonish modern engineers. The monument takes the form of a large circular mound, nearly 80 meters in diameter and 13 meters tall, encased in white quartz and dark granite that once gleamed brilliantly against the landscape. Its entrance leads to a long, narrow passageway ending in a cruciform chamber capped by an intricate corbelled roof, built so skillfully that it remains watertight to this day. Like Dolmen de Soto, Newgrange reveals its deepest secret through light. Each year, at the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the rising sun sends a beam of light directly into the tomb's entrance, illuminating the inner chamber for just a few minutes. This alignment is so precise that it can only be intentional, marking the rebirth of the sun and symbolizing the cycle of life, death, and renewal. For the people who built it, Newgrange was not just a tomb, but a temple, a place where the dead communed with the cosmos and where time itself was measured in stone and sunlight. The monument's intricate carvings of spirals, lozenges, and triskelions still decorate its inner walls, whispering symbols whose meanings remain debated, but whose power is undeniable. Today, as the solstice sun strikes its inner chamber just as it did 5,000 years ago, Newgrange stands as both a monument to the dead and a testament to the extraordinary vision of its creators. Along the windswept coast of Brittany in northwestern France lies one of the largest and most mysterious megalithic sites in the world, the Carnac stones. Stretching across the landscape in seemingly endless rows, more than 3,000 standing stones rise from the earth like an ancient army frozen in time. Some are massive monoliths towering over 4 meters tall, while others are smaller, but together they form alignments, circles, and clusters that cover several kilometers. Archaeologists date them to around 3,300 BCE, making them older than both Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. But their purpose remains one of archaeology's greatest enigmas. Were they markers of astronomical events, ceremonial avenues, or a vast necropolis for the dead? Some alignments point toward the solstices, hinting at a calendrical or astronomical function, while local folklore speaks of soldiers turned to stone by a saint's curse. Standing among the Carnac stones, the sheer scale of the site is overwhelming, a silent testimony to a culture that harnessed unimaginable collective effort to shape the land with stone. Whatever their meaning, Carnac remains a landscape of mystery, where rows of granite sentinels continue to watch over the centuries, defying time and explanation. Not far from Stonehenge in the English county of Wiltshire lies another Neolithic wonder, larger, older, and in some ways even more mysterious. Avebury, built around 2600 BCE, is the world's largest stone circle, encompassing a vast henge more than 300 meters in diameter. Unlike Stonehenge, which is composed of towering trilithons in a compact arrangement, Avebury is sprawling, with a great ditch and bank surrounding an enormous circular arrangement of standing stones. Inside the main circle were once two smaller circles, creating a layered and complex ceremonial space. Walking through Avebury today, visitors find themselves not in a single monument but in an entire sacred landscape with avenues of stones stretching outward toward other ritual sites, including Silbury Hill, the largest man-made mound in Europe. Archaeologists believe Avebury may have functioned as a center for ritual gatherings, astronomical observation, and seasonal ceremonies. Its scale suggests it was not simply a local shrine, but a focal point for people across southern Britain. Unlike the neatly roped-off grounds of Stonehenge, Avebury still weaves itself into daily life. Houses, roads, and even a pub stand within the Great Circle, a rare blend of modern life coexisting with ancient mystery. On the remote Isle of Lewis in Scotland's Outer Hebrides, the Callanish stones rise starkly against the rugged horizon. Erected around 2900 BCE, this megalithic arrangement consists of a central stone circle surrounded by radiating rows of standing stones, creating the impression of a great star or cosmic compass carved into the earth. The largest central monolith stands nearly 5 meters tall, its weathered surface catching the shifting light of the northern skies. Archaeological evidence suggests that Callanish served as both a ritual center and an astronomical observatory, its alignments marking lunar cycles rather than just solar ones. At certain times the moon appears to skim low along the horizon, framed perfectly by the stone rows, a rare celestial event that would have imbued the site with awe and mystery. For centuries, local folklore described the stones as giants turned to stone for refusing to convert to Christianity, adding a layer of myth to their enduring presence. Today, standing at Callanish with the Atlantic winds sweeping across the island, one feels the raw power of both nature and human ingenuity, an ancient temple of sky and stone that still resonates with cosmic meaning. High on a dusty hilltop in southeastern Turkey lies a site that has completely rewritten the story of human civilization, Göbekli Tepe. Dating back nearly 12,000 years, long before the rise of cities or agriculture, this monumental complex consists of massive T-shaped pillars arranged in circular enclosures. Some of these limestone pillars stand over 5 meters tall and weigh more than 10 tons, each adorned with intricate carvings of animals, abstract symbols, and mysterious humanoid forms. Unlike later tombs and ritual sites, Göbekli Tepe contains no evidence of permanent settlement, no houses, no fields, no pottery, suggesting it was built solely for ritual purposes by nomadic hunter-gatherers. This shatters the long-held belief that religion and monumental architecture arose only after farming. Instead, Göbekli Tepe suggests that humanity's first temples may have inspired agriculture, not the other way around. What drove these early people to gather in such numbers, quarry massive stones, and carve sacred imagery with such precision remains an open question. Buried deliberately around 8000 BCE, as if its creators wanted to preserve it for the future, Göbekli Tepe remains a puzzle, an ancient sanctuary hinting at a forgotten chapter in humanity's spiritual awakening. Far away in the volcanic highlands of West Java, Indonesia, another enigmatic site challenges the timeline of human history, Gunung Padang. Rising like a terraced pyramid across a hilltop, this sprawling megalithic complex is composed of massive stone columns arranged into platforms and stairways that cascade down the slope. While the visible structures are believed to be around 3,000 years old, recent studies using ground-penetrating radar and core drilling suggest that the hill itself may conceal far older man-made chambers, possibly dating back 20,000 years or more. If confirmed, this would make Gunung Padang the world's oldest known pyramid, predating all other monumental architecture by millennia. Local legends call it the Mountain of Light, and speak of it as a sacred place where ancient kings and shamans communed with the gods. Whether a ritual site, an astronomical observatory, or a forgotten citadel of an unknown civilization, Gunung Padang forces us to question how much of human history has been erased by time, and whether advanced knowledge once flourished long before recorded history began. Across the Pacific Ocean, on the island of Pohnpei in Micronesia, lies a city unlike any other, Nan Madol, often called the Venice of the Pacific. Built on a series of artificial islets connected by canals, this megalithic city was constructed from massive basalt columns stacked like giant logs, some weighing over 50 tons. Rising directly from the sea, its walls, tombs, and platforms form a labyrinth of stone that served as the ceremonial and political center of the Sodalur dynasty around 1,000 years ago. But the origins of Nan Madol stretch deeper into legend. Local oral traditions speak of sorcerer brothers who flew the basalt columns into place using magical powers, hinting at a mythic origin shrouded in mystery. Even today, engineers puzzle over how such massive stones were quarried, transported across the island, and assembled into this watery citadel without the use of metal tools or wheels. Abandoned centuries ago and slowly reclaimed by the ocean, Nan Madol remains a haunting reminder of a vanished civilization whose achievements seem to border on the impossible. High on the windswept Andean plateau of Bolivia, near the ruins of Tiwanaku, lies a site that continues to defy explanation, Puma Punku. Unlike many megalithic sites that rely on rough-hewn boulders, Puma Punku is composed of massive stone blocks cut with astonishing precision, some weighing over 100 tons. These andesite and red sandstone blocks are shaped into complex interlocking forms, with right angles, smooth surfaces, and drill-like holes that appear as if crafted by advanced tools. Archaeologists date the site to around 500 CE, built by the Tiwanaku culture, yet the techniques used to achieve such stonework remain a subject of intense debate. The scale and accuracy are such that many stones fit together like pieces of a giant three-dimensional puzzle, without mortar, resisting the passage of time and earthquakes alike. Some researchers believe Puma Punku was a grand ceremonial platform or gateway to the sacred city of Tiwanaku, aligned with astronomical events. Others speculate that it preserves knowledge lost to history. Whatever the case, standing among its scattered blocks, like fragments of a dismantled giant's playground, one is struck by the sense of an ancient mastery of engineering that still eludes full understanding. Just a short distance from Puma Punku lies Tiwanaku, once the capital of a powerful pre-Columbian civilization that flourished between 500 and 1000 CE. Known as the City of the Sun, Tiwanaku is a vast complex of temples, pyramids, and monolithic gateways that reveal the sophistication of Andean cultures long before the rise of the Inca. The Acapana Pyramid, an immense terraced mound, dominates the site, while the Kalasasaya Temple houses one of its most iconic relics, the Gateway of the Sun. Carved from a single massive block of stone, the gateway features an enigmatic figure surrounded by symbols, often interpreted as a solar deity or calendar. Tiwanaku was more than a city. It was a sacred center of pilgrimage, trade, and astronomical observation, reflecting a society deeply connected to the cycles of nature and the cosmos. Its influence extended across the Andean world, shaping cultures that came long after. Today, though partly in ruins, Tiwanaku remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a reminder that the high plains of South America once fostered a civilization of extraordinary vision and resilience. In the heart of southern Africa lies one of the continent's most impressive ancient ruins, Great Zimbabwe. Built between the 11th and 15th centuries, this vast stone city was the capital of the Kingdom of Zimbabwe, a powerful trading empire that controlled routes linking Africa's interior to the Indian Ocean coast. What makes Great Zimbabwe extraordinary is its architecture. Massive dry stone walls, some rising over 10 meters high and stretching for hundreds of meters, constructed without mortar. Within its enclosures lie the remains of royal palaces, towers, and living quarters, most famously the Great Enclosure, with its iconic conical tower whose purpose remains mysterious. For centuries, colonial scholars refused to believe that Africans could have built such a monumental city, attributing it falsely to outsiders, a myth long since debunked. Archaeological evidence now confirms Great Zimbabwe as the work of local Shona peoples, a center of wealth, culture, and political power. Standing among its towering granite walls today, one feels the grandeur of a city that once rivaled the great capitals of the medieval world, proof that advanced civilizations thrived across Africa long before European contact. In the remote expanse of the Pacific Ocean, more than 3,000 kilometers from the nearest continent, rises Easter Island, Rapa Nui, as it is known to its people. Here, nearly 900 colossal statues called Moai stand as silent guardians of a lost past. Carved between the 13th and 16th centuries from volcanic tuff, these statues range from a few meters tall to the towering Paro Moai, which stands over 10 meters and weighs more than 80 tons. Each Moai represents an ancestral figure created to embody spiritual power, mana, and watch over the island's communities. What makes them extraordinary is not only their size but the mystery of their transport. Many Moai were quarried at the volcanic crater of Rano Raraku and somehow moved kilometers across rugged terrain without wheels, beasts of burden, or metal tools. Local oral traditions speak of the statues walking with the aid of ritual chants, and modern experiments have shown that with ropes and careful coordination, teams could have rocked the statues upright across the land. Over time, the island's deforestation and internal conflicts led to the toppling of many Moai, yet their enduring presence remains a haunting reminder of human ingenuity, belief, and struggle in one of the most isolated places on Earth. In the Bekaa Valley of Lebanon lies one of the most staggering feats of ancient engineering, the temple complex of Baalbek. Known to the Romans as Heliopolis, the city of the sun, Baalbek became home to some of the grandest temples of the ancient world. At its heart lies the Temple of Jupiter, whose foundation is made of some of the largest stones ever quarried by humankind. Among them is the famed Stone of the Pregnant Woman, a single limestone block weighing over 1,000 tons still partially embedded in its quarry, and nearby, even larger blocks exceeding 1,600 tons have been identified. How these megaliths were cut, moved, and placed into position remains an enigma, as even with modern cranes the task would be monumental. Above these colossal foundations, the Romans built towering columns and ornate structures that once dazzled with gold and marble. Today, Baalbek's ruins stand as a fusion of myth, history, and mystery, where Roman grandeur rests on foundations whose origins may stretch back to civilizations older still. On the banks of the Nile in southern Egypt lies a silent witness to ancient ambition, the unfinished obelisk of Aswan. Carved directly into the granite bedrock, this massive obelisk was intended to be the largest ever erected, standing over 40 meters tall and weighing an estimated 1,200 tons. Had it been completed, it would have dwarfed every other obelisk in Egypt, a symbol of power and divine authority reaching toward the heavens. But during its carving, cracks appeared in the stone, forcing the project to be abandoned. Today, the obelisk still lies partially detached from the bedrock, giving archaeologists a unique glimpse into the techniques of ancient stonemasons, how they used dolerite pounding stones to chip away at granite with astonishing perseverance. Its incomplete state transforms it into more than a monument. It is a frozen moment in history, a reminder of both the grandeur and the limits of human endeavor. Standing beside it, one cannot help but imagine the thousands of workers who once labored under the Egyptian sun, striving to create a wonder the world would never see completed. These megalithic marvels whisper the same haunting truth. History may not be as simple as we believe. Perhaps the Great Flood was more than a myth. Perhaps these structures are fragments of a forgotten age, survivors of a world swept away by cataclysm. What is certain is that these stones endure, speaking silently across the millennia. They are messages, carved not in ink but in stone, urging us to remember what was lost. And as we continue to uncover them, we may find that the story of humanity stretches far deeper and far stranger than we ever imagined.